Now let us start for the next session. So already some terms we have discussed. Now let us start from the next topic, that is capitalized value. The capitalized value of a property is the amount, the interest on which at the highest prevailing rate will be equal to the net income out of the property. So here capitalized value we can write as net annual income or return multiplied by years purchase. So it may be annual income or rent received from the property. So we can find out value of the property, or that is capitalized value, that is equal to net annual income multiplied by years purchase. Now here, as the property or building becomes useless after its life is over, therefore it becomes necessary to keep aside certain amount in the form of sinking fund for rebuilding the property. Therefore, whatever income is received from the property should take care of both, that is interest on investment and the accumulation of sinking fund. Thus, the year's purchase we have described above is now modified to include the provision for sinking fund as well as the rate of interest on investment. So here we can write down year's purchase now equals to 100 upon rate of interest on capital invested plus rate of interest for sinking fund or rate of sinking fund. So here YP, that is year's purchase, equals to 100 upon IP plus IC. Now here IP is the rate of interest on capital investment that we consider in decimal fraction. That means if it is 10%, then you have to consider it as 0.1. IC is the sinking fund coefficient, that is sinking fund installment to accumulate sinking fund of ₹1. So here, since we have discussed I equals to Sn into I divided by 1 plus I to the power n minus 1. Now, if the sinking fund amount that we want to accumulate is ₹1, so keeping Sn equals to 1 here in this formula, so then this I will become IC. That is, IC is called as sinking fund coefficient that we obtain by putting Sn equals to 1. Now let's come to the next term, that is depreciation. So depreciation is the loss in value of the property due to its use, life, wear, tear, decay and obsolescence. Obsolescence means change in fashion, change in trend. Thus there is loss in value because of the life of the property. So in general, value of the property decreases gradually over its life period due to the depreciation. And how to work out the depreciation? So there are three methods. We will discuss one by one. Now let us consider first method, that is straight line method. It is assumed that the property loses its value by a constant amount of original cost, so that at the end of life the property is worn out and only scrap value remains. Thus the total depreciation will be equal to original cost minus scrap value, because after life is over we are getting scrap value. We know the original cost, so original cost minus scrap value, that will be the difference, that will be called as total depreciation, and it will take place over the total life of the property or building. Now here D is the annual depreciation, the constant amount of depreciation that we have to work out, and that is applicable every year. D is the annual depreciation, that is amount. Here is the life of the building or the property in number of years. C is the original cost. SC is the scrap value. Now, the annual rate of depreciation, D, that is equals to C minus SC upon N. C minus SC, that gives the total depreciation. Dividing it by number of years, we get the yearly amount of depreciation. And we assume that the property is going to lose its value by constant amount D every year for N number of years. Now the second method is the constant percentage method. So here in this method, it is assumed that the property loses its value annually at a constant percentage of its value. Here the percentage rate of depreciation is considered as constant instead of amount. So P is the percentage rate of annual depreciation, C is original cost, SC is the scrap value, and N is the life of the building or the property in years. Now here at the end of first year, value of the property will be C minus the depreciation, because we are assuming that property is going to lose its value by certain percentage. So if C is the original cost, then P into C will be the depreciation for 1 year. So C minus PC will be the value of the property after 1 year. Rearranging this, that we can write down C into 1 minus P. Similarly, at the end of second year, now the value of the property, initial value was C into 1 minus P. Now we'll apply percentage rate of depreciation for the value of the property, that is initial value at the start. So P into C into 1 minus P. So after simplification, this will give you C into 1 minus P square. See here this particular term, C into 1 minus P, now it is the value, present value of the property. And in 1 year, it is going to lose at the rate of this P. So multiplying by P to this value, so you will be getting the value of the property after 2 years. That is C into 1 minus P bracket square. Similarly, at the end of third year, the value of the property will remain C into 1 minus P to the power 3. And likewise, when the life is over, that is after n number of years, value of the property will be equals to C into 1 minus P to the power n. And that is nothing but the scrap value of the property, denoted as SC. Now, therefore, scrap value, that is equals to SC equals to C into 1 minus P to the power n. Rearranging this term, SC upon C, that is equals to 1 minus P to the power n. Solving this equation for P, we can obtain percentage rate of depreciation, that is equals to 1 minus in bracket SC upon C to the power 1 upon n. Now here this method will not be applicable when scrap value itself is 0. Now the next method is the sinking fund method. In this method, the depreciation of the property is assumed to be equal to the amount of sinking fund accumulated till the date of valuation, that is for past life. Now if Sn is the amount of sinking fund, N is the life in years, I is the rate of interest on sinking fund accumulation. Already we have discussed that we have to deposit certain amount I, that is annual equal installment, that is deposited every year, that we know that I equals to Sn into I divided by in bracket 1 plus I to the power n minus 1. Now here depreciation after certain period, that is when the building becomes old by certain year, that is n dash year, that we can call as past life. Now this will be equals to sinking fund accumulated for n dash year, and in addition to include the interest received on whatever we are depositing the sinking fund installment. Therefore, depreciation after n dash year by sinking fund method, that will be equals to depreciation equals to I, that is yearly deposit, and we are depositing for n dash year. So I deposited every year multiplied by this bracket, that is 1 plus I to the power n dash, that is past life for which we are doing the calculation, minus 1 divided by I, that is rate of interest. So this will give the amount of sinking fund accumulated in n dash year, and that is nothing but depreciation amount of for n dash year. Same here, yes, we are putting value of this, we can modify this formula. Now there are some valuation table. In brief we will discuss that. Valuation table 1 indicates that ₹1 is deposited initially, and for certain period of n year, that how much amount it shall accumulate. So just go through it. So if we deposit ₹1 at the start, after n years the amount will become 1 plus I to the power n. And instead of ₹1, if we suppose deposit ₹x for n number of years as fixed deposit amount, then after n years the amount will accumulate as x into 1 plus I to the power n to the power n. This formula is for amount accumulated for ₹1 deposit initially, and the period of deposition is n. Here if we deposit suppose 5,000 rupees for 10 years, and rate of interest is suppose 8, then how much amount it will produce will be equal to 5,000 into 1 plus I that is 1 plus 0.08, that is considering 8% as rate of interest and period of deposition is 10. So we will be getting the amount. So here the formula table 1 gives the amount available for initial deposit of 1 for certain period of n, and we can apply suitably for any amount x. Table 2 is now different. Table 2 is that rupees 1 is deposited every year for number of years, that is recurring deposit, that every year you deposit rupees 1 and rate of interest is I, that how much amount shall accumulate. Just you go through all this value, already we have discussed similar step. So you will be getting capital sum accumulated for yearly deposit of rupees 1 for n number of years, that is C equals to 1 plus I to the power n minus 1 divided by I. Now instead of rupees 1, suppose you deposit rupees x invested at the end of each year for n number of years, then the capital accumulated will be equals to C equals to x into 1 plus I to the power n minus 1 divided by I. For example, rupees 5,000 deposited every year for 10 years, then we can work out this amount. That amount available will be 5,000 into 1 plus I, that is 1 plus 0.08 to the power 10 minus 1 divided by 0.08. So we can work out the recurring deposit and how much final amount you are going to receive. Table 3 is sinking fund table. So you are getting the yearly installment. If sinking fund rupees becomes 1, then this becomes sinking fund coefficient. And table number 4 is years purchase table. Already we have discussed the years purchase, that we define years purchase as 1 upon IP plus IC. For this term, IP is the rate of interest on capital investment, IC is the sinking fund coefficient. If rate of interest is same for both this term, it is called a single rate method. So IP rate of interest I, also for IC rate of interest is I. Then the years purchase will be 1 upon I bracket this whole term. It is possible that the rate of interest for capital investment may be different, then rate of interest for sinking fund accumulation may be different. Then you can use this term YP equals to 1 upon IP in bracket I upon 1 plus at YN minus 1. This is called as dual rate method for years purchase. Table 5 is different now. Here it is the present value of rupees 1 receivable at the end of certain period. That means rupees 1 you may get some after some period. That means if suppose I promise you that I am giving you rupees 10,000 after say 10 years, not right now. That means exactly how much amount I am going to pay you, that we are calling. So present value of rupees 10, suppose for example 10,000 that you may receive after 10 years, that present value of that amount that you are going to receive after certain period is called as the reversionary value. So here we have discussed that rupees 1 is invested for n years, so you get the amount 1 plus I. That is initial present value is rupees 1, you are getting amount after certain year. Now if I want present value of rupees 1 that you may get after n year, that present value by cross multiplication you can find out 1 upon 1 plus I to the power n. So this is called as reversionary value. Therefore, if suppose you are receiving rupees x after certain year, then its reversionary value will be x into 1 upon 1 plus I to the power n. So the rest of the topic we will discuss in the next lecture. By that time you can go through the problem on calculation of depreciation by different methods.